All right, and hack. Welcome everybody. It is 8 o'clock Eastern time, 5 o'clock my time, because I'm a weird Arizonian and time doesn't make any sense here. I am Tay,
I'm Jen.
and welcome.
So we are the part of the United States Department of Nerds, home of the Queen of Nerdom podcast. And if you guys haven't checked out our first episode, this is a perfect place for all nerds from all walks of life that can come, hang out, learn, and share. Enjoy our intro.
Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for the shout out, Kevin. Sorry, Calvin. Today we will be doing our shots as per usual. So we're going to go ahead and give a shot to DFPN's own Kately because he's going through a lot right now. So the shot goes out to you and to the rest of the USDN also for helping me out while I've been kind of in and out of things because I have my kiddo here from Belgium. So I will be doing a shot out of my Hollywood glass. I am taking a shot of what is this? This is Peach Crown.
Peach Crown. Oh,
what do you got?
I don't know how you can do that with whiskey. I'm doing my rum. I got my raspberry rum.
It's literally a handle.
What the hell? Did you buy a gallon?
Look.
All right, cheers to you, Gately.
All right, cheers. Salute.
Alrighty.
Oh, man. It hurts.
So, it burns a little bit. You good?
Yeah, I'm great. I got water. I'm good.
Wash with water. All right, so we want to open up today's episode 4 of the Queen of Nerdom. One of my very favorite quotes from Robin Williams. Please remember all that you are only given one little spark of madness. Don't ever lose it. Love that quote. I'm going to put that on my wall. But I think this quote is actually fitting as we explore the Gotham villains. So last time we talked to you guys, we were talking about the heroes. And so talking about the villains seems just as appropriate. And I actually, Tay, I don't know about you, but I actually had a little bit more fun with the villains.
Oh, for sure.
Okay,
like
so
I totally like no, but like I totally like my brain I guess is on like the villain side just because they're like we'll get into it later, but like they're just so relatable. It's weird, you know.
It makes a better villain, I think, when you like know where they're coming from. Totally feel like
Mm.
that. So anyhow, and I thank our fans for voting through the poll, guiding us through kind of choosing which villains to talk about. And just remember at USDN that we are for the people, by the people. Okay. So just remember that a lot of the information that we are presenting is just skimming the surface, just kind of going over highlights of characters and the things that they did and a part of their abilities, things like that. If we went down all the endless rabbit holes that there are, this podcast would probably be like infinite. Like it would never end. There's so many different rabbit holes and things that we can talk about.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. DC villains are so much cooler than the heroes. That's 100%.
Yeah, AD said it the best, man. Like they really are relatable, like the villains.
They really are. All right, Tay, who we got first on the plate?
All right, so our first one is the Court of Owls. This is going to be the first villain that we're going to be talking about, part of the villains episode. So the Court of Owls first appeared in Batman Volume 2, number 1, in 2011. And who are they? So they're in this word is always hard. Sorry.
It's the crown.
It's a secret society. Yeah, no, it's fine. No, it's really just a word. But it's a secret society, which is years old, that has immense power and influences the embedded culture and the architecture that's in the Gotham City. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is the origin. So the myth of the Court of Owls is older, and it's older than like Gotham City itself. The court splintered off from the tribe of Judas. So who's the tribe of Judas? They were a cult that worshipped a cosmic bat deity known as Barbados. That was like weird. Definitely like a loophole and rabbit hole there, right? But to continue on, the court ruled Gotham from the shadows, harvesting a rare metal, and it was called electrum, which made the chemical dinos. I don't know exactly how to pronounce that, and I'm sorry if I totally butchered that.
Dionysium?
Yeah.
Dionysium.
Dionysium. And it was also, as this Facebook user said, that the first time that I heard about the Court of Owls, just like them, was actually from the Gotham TV series. So same here. Barbados? No.
Not my mouth because Barbados.
Barbados.
Did they mean Barbados? Maybe that's where the bat's from. He's from Barbados.
The Riri Island? Yeah, no.
Barbados is from Barbados.
So the court used this chemical to engineer the Talons. And the Talons are a legion of superhero assassins that they use to eliminate their enemies, and they groom them from like a very young age. So the Talons are so brutal. They like to kill people, and this is like their favorite way to kill people is by dragging them into the sewers and then like giving them drugged water, because obviously you have to drink water, right? Photographing them, and then like having the entire actual like court of spectator members like watching this happen, and then the Talons will mercy kill like the person, but this is after the victim is dragged into the sewers, drugged, and like walking around this ginormous maze, because sewers are mazes. And this is like super brutal.
That's weird.
So the court members get dressed in white owls and like white owl masks, and they often hid owls in their clothing or architecture around like the actual city to reference their operation.
Okay.
So this is passed from generation to generation in the form of a nursery rhyme, which I'm going to go ahead and read off for y'all. It's beware the court of owls. that watches all the time, ruling Gotham from a shadowy perch behind graphite and lime. They watch you at your hell or hearth, your hearth, and they watch you in your bed. Speak not a whisper word of them, or they'll send the talon for your head. Super cool. I thought it was super dope. So, like, yeah, it was like it was really cool to like research them, and I was just like, I had a lot of fun with this. um, so Alan Wayne had his own part of that, and part of the Court of Owls. So the Court of Owls and Alan Wayne, had an agreement that his business would build architecture in the city, but would have like secret hideouts for the court to do their mischievousness in. And it would often be on the 13th floor, hence the superstition. Yeah. So cool. So cool. So then, so I wanted to say like who Alan actually was. So Alan Wayne is the great great grandfather of Bruce Wayne. He's the firstborn generation in Gotham. So Alan found out about the actual plan that the Court of Owls had, and this drove him insane because he was like trying to tell people on the streets and trying to get the word out there, and nobody would listen to him. And eventually, the court obviously heard about this, and hence the nursery rhyme. They dragged him into a manhole, like one of the manhole covers that are like on the street, and they tortured him in the labyrinth of sewers, and then murdered him by like several stab wounds. But this was like never actually like known that it was the Court of Owls. So like it was just kind of like we knew, but like nobody really talked about it because they didn't want to die. So the threat of Bruce Wayne is the next topic that we're going to talk about. So Bruce returns to Gotham after creating Batman Incorporated. And while home, he uses his wealth and influence to revitalize the city. So that means like he had this whole plan for the city, and he like talked about it. So his announcement of this plan was interrupted when he hears Commissioner Gordon receive a call about a mysterious murder. So Bruce dons the bat suit, right? And then he arrives on the scene. He's like, "What's up, Batman?" and and he meets up with Harvey Bullock.
Just like that.
Just like that. No shit. That's exactly what happened.
So Batman.
Batman. But anyway, he arrived at the scene, and there's a John Doe, right? And that's on the ground with multiple like antique throwing knives, like in the image of an owl, like thrown on his body. Super dope. Super dope. And then Batman like finds skin underneath the dude's fingernails. So Batman sends the cells to Alfred for DNA recognition, but is still on the scene because he's got like, his bat gadgets and they're doing the things, the cool science things. I'm not a science person. Science things. Science. And while waiting for the results from Alfred, Bruce finds a secret message on the wall proclaiming that Bruce Wayne will die tomorrow.
Can I ask you something?
Absolutely, go.
If you're a secret society, why leave a calling card of owls at the scene of the crime?
That way, so in my mind, it's like the Joker, right? He leaves his, like, the Joker card, right? It's just to instill that fear that they're still here and still doing things.
Gotcha.
That's me.
That's your take.
That's my take. That's my hot take. Takes hot take.
Hot take. Okay. So it's like, then I'm going to think about it, and then according to the nursery rhyme, I'm done for. I'm like, it's self-serving. I see you, Court of Owls.
Yeah. So Alfred calls back with the DNA results. They're the Illuminati of DC. Yes.
Actually, I was just going to ask you that. I'm like, they're throwing off some Illuminati vibes.
Mm-hmm.
And I totally agree.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
Straight up, they did. So Alfred calls back with the DNA results, and the potential killer's like DNA actually was a perfect match for Dick Grayson. Do you know who that is? Yeah, it's Robin.
Is Robin one of the many?
So the attack of the Talon is what I'm going to cover next. So Bruce discussed that the owls exist, or sorry, he was like told that the owls, like the court of owls, existed, but he was like, nah, like I'm not going to believe that. I'm not going to entertain this secret Illuminati society. Like that's not for me. Um, that's cool, but nah. So during a meeting that he had with Lincoln March, he was warned by Lincoln that there was an ancient evil that had come to Gotham that was awakened by these new plans that Bruce had, was promoting. While this meeting was going on, a talent burst through, like the window and stabs Bruce. It's like, ah, stabs him.
Rude. Rude. I didn't think they could come in unless you invited
Yeah. Just total stab.
I didn't invite you. Go away.
So it wasn't through a window, it was through an elevator, but a window would have been cooler.
I wish they would.
Right.
That Talon's lazy. He's fuck this. I'm taking the elevator.
It's like, I don't want glass shards in myself. I'm good. I'll just take the elevator.
It burns. I get it.
Yeah. So the Talon burst through the elevator. He came from the elevator and like burst through, kills 2 security guards on his way, and then plunges a knife into Lincoln's chest. And then he turns and then he stabs Bruce multiple times. Multiple stabs. And then Bruce gets an arm around Talon's like neck to try to like choke him, but it doesn't work. He's just like sitting there like, like I'm gonna choke you, but it doesn't work. So the Talon throws Bruce like out a window. Here's your window moment. So he throws Bruce out of a window of the old Wayne Tower. I'm sorry, AD just did something weird. I don't know what he just did. Did he? He didn't message me. We're good. All right. So, shoot, where am I? Okay, yeah. So, he threw him out of the window at the old Wayne Tower, and then jumped after him. And then the Talon said that he loves killing Waynes, and that was like our throwback, like our callback to Alan Wayne, if you guys remember. But Bruce catches a gargoyle on his way down and shakes off the Talon, and then the Talon falls on the street below. The EMTs were there to go pick up the dead body, what they thought was a dead body, but a short time after they had picked him up, the Talon, his body came back to life, and the Talon killed the people that were there and disposed of them. And then this led to the notion that Talons are immortal, or further showed that Talons are immortal because they're super badass. So Bruce,
that fear factor you were talking about.
I'm sorry, what?
It kind of increases that fear factor you were talking about.
Exactly. Yeah. So the only reason that there are Talons is because of the Court of Owls, and you see the Court of Owls insignia everywhere, and then you see a random Talon stabbing people. So for sure, there's that fear that's there. So Bruce, who is still Batman at this time, ends up searching for answers on how the Talon found his way up through Wayne Tower. And he came through he came onto a group that was a Ukrainian group that called themselves the Whisper Gang. Gang. But no. Yeah, so they're called the Whisper Gang, and cool. So like Bruce as Batman, right? So Batman beat them all up and demanded to know like how Talon was, how he had gotten there, because the gang had controlled a section of rail lines. Um, that was like the only possible route for them to get into the building. So after narrowly escaping one of the court's ancient bases, Bruce exhumes the body of his old ancestor, Alan Wayne. Wayne was suspected to have been killed by the court, like we had talked about, um, as he like led up to his death. And then the Court of Owls like found out about this, and then Bruce like finds his way into the tunnel system to investigate where Alan's body was found, and then a Talon appears and like pounces, pounces on him. So, oh, and then the next thing that we're talking about is now the labyrinth. So the Talon held Bruce as captive through the giant maze, like their favorite way to kill, right? So they were drugging him, left him no food, and Bruce started having these like terrible, disturbing hallucinations. So he's like walking along, and he's looking for a way to escape. He finds this tile that's like loose, and he rips it out, and then like drops down into it, and it's a room that's like filled with pictures of Batman. So he starts screaming, "I'm not listening! I'm not listening to you!" While the Talon is like slowly walking up to him and like impales him with a sword. So now Bruce is like crawling on the floor, bleeding. The Talon looks up at the court to like see what they want to do for like how they want him to die. The youngest member of Talon like hurt him more. So the assassin proceeds, sorry, to beat up Bruce, and then finally kicked him through a wall, like just kicks him through a wall. At this point, he like Bruce was like contemplating just like giving up, just like succumbing to his fate, and just like leaving it all, like just, fuck it, just kill me, like I'm done. But then he looks up and he sees a portrait of Alan Wayne with a terror expression in his eyes. And this fills Bruce with like rage and like anger. And Bruce leaps to his feet. And now the Talons are like amused with this rage, and walk up to end him. But like Bruce charges the Talon and beats him like up like around the labyrinth, and then leave the Talon like, unconscious. So then Bruce escapes from the explosion that he had created, and then he drops into a river, and then the Court of Owls end up actually disposing of the Talon, since like he would never psychologically recover from being beaten by Batman, because that shit was crazy.
Pride blow. Pride. I get it.
Yeah. Pride is a devil. So then one of the leaders, fat rage. One of the leaders turned to the room filled with Talons in caskets, and then ordered them to wake up to start this war against Batman. So there was like a bunch of caskets, and there was Talons inside of them, and they was like, "It's time to go," and they all were like, "Boop." So yeah. Yeah. So Batman, the Night of Owls comic. This is a Bat Family crossover event with the Court of Owls. I didn't really go into that one because I couldn't really find much data. Also, rabbit hole, right? So the members of the Court of Owls, you have the Judge of the Owls. That's the ruling figurehead of the cult. And then you have Joseph Powers. He's the owner of Powers Hotel. Maria Powers, who's the wife of Joseph Powers. She's the wealthy, high-ranking member of the Court of Owls who operated the Powers Hotel. You have John Wycliffe or Cliff. He's the Grandmaster of the court, and then Lincoln March, who was in the meeting with Bruce Wayne and warning him about the Talon, which he refused to listen to. But Lincoln March actually ended up becoming Owlman, and this was due to his belief that he was the long lost son of Thomas and Martha Wayne, who is Bruce Wayne's parents. And then you have Sebastian Clark, who's the former Grandmaster, who is superseded by John Wycliffe. So media that you can see the Court of Owls in is the film. You have Batman versus Robin. Television, the Gotham series, like we had alluded to prior, and then also the Harley Quinn series. In the video games, you have Batman Arkham Origins, and then you also have Gotham Knights. A couple of trivia little things that I found were interesting was the creator and writer Scott Snyder states that the inspiration of the owl is from the Silver Age character Oil Man, which is an alternate evil version of Batman who came from Earth 3.
That's where my brain went to. I'm like, so Owlman from The Watchmen? I'm like, is that the same?
I've actually never seen The Watchmen, so I don't know. But I'm sure there's a bunch of research out there that we can do and get back to you, AD. Sorry, but I don't have an answer for you right now this second. And the first appearance was in Batman Volume 2. However, there are super different hints and Easter eggs, right, throughout their existence in the Detective Comics. And the miniseries of Batman, The Gates of Gotham. And there's a whole Talon series. So if you have questions or wonder about anything like that, there is a whole series out there comic-wise for you to check out.
Here's a rabbit hole.
Enjoy. That's for you.
Here you go. It's all for you. Take have fun. So I wanted to talk a little bit about Hush. Now, I know I don't think Hush won in the polls, but no, I think Hush did win. Maybe it was Poison Ivy. Anyways, I wanted to talk about Hush, and I'm kind of dedicating this review to our buddy Kaylee. I know we're taking shots and doing all sorts of things, but Kaylee is one of those people I've known for a long time, and I know how much this character meant to you to talk about, so I'm going to talk about him just for you.
Okay.
Just for you, my friend. All right, so the character Hush, he first appeared in the Batman comic number 069, in January of 2003. It was a 12-issue storyline titled Batman Hush. So Hush's real name is Thomas, or Tommy Elliot. I'll go kind of in between using Tommy and Elliot when I talk about him. Okay. So some of his abilities is he has this genius intellect. He's a skilled surgeon. He's an adept marksman. And he has this incredible hand-to-hand combat skill that he can actually even hold his own to Batman. What? I know, digest that a little bit. You're like, said what? You're like, I don't believe you.
I don't, but I'll digress.
I'll allow it. So Tommy, aka Hush, was a childhood friend of Bruce Wayne. They would play together, and Tommy always seemed to outmaneuver Bruce. Surprisingly, being the awesome tactician that Bruce Wayne is, Tommy would actually be able to outmaneuver him. It's kind of believed that Tommy was like the dark mirror image of Bruce. So Bruce really enjoyed spending time with his parents. whereas Tommy didn't. He had a very abusive and like alcoholic father, and his mother came from poverty and did little to nothing to help Tommy.
Damn.
I know. She lost points right there.
That's rough.
She was actually willing to endure the abuse towards her and Tommy just in order to keep her lavish lifestyle. And she actually went so far as to make Tommy memorize like quotes from like Aristotle and like war strategy in order to better defend himself and kind of like learn to strategically maneuver his father and like his abusive wrath. So, so kind of give you an idea of some of the things that he like learned. As a quote from Aristotle is, "It is a mark of an educated mind to be able to entertain a thought without accepting it." I thought that was kind of interesting. I went down a rabbit hole of like googling some Aristotle stuff, and I was like, oh, that's a chew on that for a little bit. Interesting. Anyways,
I'd love to actually hear about that later, but yeah, continue.
Right. So Tommy never forgave her for this, for pretty much not defending him.
Yeah.
And Thomas Wayne, Bruce's father, actually, he would actually look after both the boys from time to time, and he actually took them to Metropolis. He had a business trip, and he took them with him, and he told the boys to, hey, stay in the hotel room while I'm at this meeting. We'll go out later. You got two young boys. You think they're going to listen?
Absolutely not.
Exactly. I have young boys. They're like, sure, we won't. Peace. As soon as he leaves. So they stuck out. And they actually witnessed the Green Lantern battling with like a nemesis.
And that's dope.
Yeah. How often do you see that? I mean, especially like a cosmic power like the Green Lantern. Now, this had an impact on Tommy. So Tommy got the idea at a young age of 10. Mind you, my oldest is 10. So I was like, oh, watch out for this. He decided to try to kill his parents.
Okay, like with serial killers though, like aren't you like, or killers in general, aren't you supposed to like kill pets or animals first? He did the whole leap.
Girl, he skipped that. He didn't go baby steps like I'm gonna kill my pet hamster and then move up to like the neighbor's cat. He like jumped like, Mom, Dad, gotta go.
That's wild.
I'll tell you why. So he cut the brake lines of their car. So his dad died instantly, but his mom lived. And can I tell you who saved her life?
Please.
Thomas Wayne.
What?
Thomas Wayne. Yeah. So Thomas Wayne, as you remember, Bruce's dad had this expert like surgical skills. So Tommy actually blamed the Waynes, mainly Bruce, for his mother surviving.
But why Bruce? That doesn't make any sense.
That's his dad. I don't know. He's 10. Like, I don't.
Okay.
It's your fault.
It's all your fault. Yeah.
His friends are video games. Like, I get it. I don't know. So his mother survives. So Tommy, his voice betters offing my parent, right? So, so Tommy survives, and his mom survives. So Thomas went on to meet Dr. Jonathan Crane. Do you remember who Dr. Jonathan Crane is?
I don't. I don't. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's Scarecrow.
Oh, okay.
So he was Scarecrow. So he went to this like a summer camp. I guess rich kids have their own summer camps too. And he violently lashed out at other boys in the summer camp for teasing him and calling him a mama's boy. Now, I'm not really sure what violently lashed out means, but man, they scooped him up and took him to a psych facility. So I know that's an extreme. So Dr. Crane is like talking to him, and he quickly realizes that um, Tommy has some sociopathic tendencies.
Mm.
So instead of keeping him and treating him, he releases him. And
As an experiment?
later, huh?
Is he like experimenting and like watching him?
So later on, you find out that his intention is to be his mentor. Yeah, I know.
Crazy recognizes crazy. I get it. I
Exactly.
get
He's like, I
it.
get you. He's like, go ahead, you're good. I'll see you later. It's like,
We'll see each
yeah,
other again soon.
yeah.
It's
Facebook, add me on Facebook. I'll talk to you later.
okay.
So, some of the things that so I gave you a little bit of background on Hush, how he kind of like came to be. Some things about his character is that he manipulates other villains, such as the Joker, Harley Quinn, Poison Ivy, many others, and to helping him destroy Batman. Um, kind of give you some examples. He abducted like 6 members of the Bat family, including Batwoman and Nightwing. And
Oh,
they wake up, yeah. I was like, how do you pull that off? He did. See, that's the scary thing about villains who are smart and know how to like plan things, kind of like play a long game.
yeah.
Is, to me, they're more terrifying because you don't know what they have cooking, and they
Right, because they have a
yeah,
strategy and they have like their backdoor ways of doing things. So like they might show one thing, but they actually have like other intentions. It's like
yeah,
Bane. Bane had that like all the time.
yeah. You,
Sorry, tangent.
no, that's what Hush did. So they wake up in Hush's lair and find that he gave them a serum that paralyzes their vocal cords. So essentially, they can't talk, they can't plan any ways of escape or anything. It sounds like Crane's part of the military healthcare. True that. It's true.
Yo.
There's an 800 milligram Motrin. Call me tomorrow, maybe.
It's
Come back.
ibuprofen. It's always ibuprofen.
Um, so Hush's plan was that he was going to harvest Batwoman and Nightwing's organs on the black market and sell them. He's gonna sell them. He even had a buyer all lined up.
Damn.
Ew. Like that's. Can you imagine? Like
No. No. I'd rather be dead, like, and have my organs harvested. Like, I don't need to see that actually happen.
just kill me. Yeah. Some of the other stuff that he did is that he invented a virus that would actually affect and mutate the Killer Croc, even more so than what he was. And then he also had his face that was surgically altered to look like Batman and Bruce Wayne.
That's so weird.
Yeah.
So weird.
And this was actually in order to steal his identity, which he later found out that this would only work on people who didn't actually know Bruce.
As Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it would only work on people that didn't actually know him.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of the things I read too about Hush is that the way he got his nickname was Dr. Craner Scarecrow would sing the Hush Little Baby song during a lot of his meetings.
Nope, that's weird. I don't like that.
That's what I read. There may be more stories to how he got his name, but I guess that one stuck for some weird reason. But yeah, Scarecrow would sing like the Hush Little Baby song. And can you imagine? He's like, that's it. That's my name. Hush. Ooh, it's creepy.
Oh my god, have you seen I can't remember what the show is called, but it's about Candy Montgomery and it's on HBO. Do you have HBO Max?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna have to send that to you later, but there is like a whole thing where she's like psychologically goes to a psychologist and they go like into her mind and there's a reason why she like brutally murders somebody. But yeah, I'll get that to you.
Oh,
I cannot remember the name of it, but I'll get it to you.
it's later. Oh, there is one thing since you brought up HBO Max. So I watched the HBO Max Batman Hush animated movie, and it was good, but I'm going to spoil the ending. So if you guys haven't seen it, mute me. Spoilers. So at the very end of the movie, have you seen it?
No, I haven't.
So at the very end, they reveal that Hush is actually the Riddler, which
Oh.
is not true. Like in the movie, Thomas Elliot is killed, and I'm sitting there watching it. And you know, I've read up on things with Hush, and I'm like, oh well, he's just faking it. It's it's fine. Thomas Elliot will come back later, and he doesn't. He's actually dead. I'm like, well then, who's Hush? And, like, and then it's like the Riddler, like it's me, and I'm like, no, it's not. I'm like, that's not right. You're not Hush. I was
Damn.
so annoyed. I mean, it's not bad, but
Okay.
that's not Hush.
Okay.
Yeah.
So actually, to answer this question real quick, so somebody asked us if we're fans of how the Court of Owls were portrayed in the show Gotham. Honestly, I was just because of how creepy, mysterious they had the white masks. They kind of were just there. They didn't have they weren't like out and showing themselves like out. But yeah, like I liked how they were portrayed in the series Gotham. I don't think you've seen Gotham, right?
I'm following your lead. I'm just like,
Yeah, so I actually did enjoy it. Like, let us know in the comments, like if you did enjoy how the Court of Owls were like presented in the show Gotham, if you ever did see it, because we definitely would like to know your contributions and your thoughts. But sorry, continue.
always. No, that was it. Like sometimes the animated shows on HBO. I mean, either way, the stories are good. Like even if there's like changes like that, but I was disappointed in particular with that one. And I think when we talked about the Red Hood before, like there's a lot of things in that show is not right. But I could go on a really long rant about Hollywood and how they change things just to
Hence my
appease
Hollywood
people.
shot glass. That's
Um,
why I did a shot out of it
Hollywood,
today.
there's shit right. There's plenty of source material.
Yeah. All right. So to go into our next villain, are you ready?
I am
All
absolutely.
right. Sweet. So I'm going to be talking about Mr. Freeze, who is one of my favorite villains. Like, knowing his background, which I will 100% tell y'all about. Um, but like he is one of my favorite villains in the DC universe just because of how relatable his backstory is.
Right.
So, fun fact is he has two first appearances, and I will explain why. Two.
Is that the
Yeah,
DC?
he's one man, but he's got two.
Mhm.
It's different, but so he's got two first appearances. So his first appearance as Mr. Zero came from Batman 121, and that was in 1959. So you might be thinking, Mr. Zero, you said Mr. Zero? I thought we were talking about Mr. Freeze, and I'll get to that in a second. So his first appearance as Mr. Freeze came from the Detective Comics number 373, so 373. And this was in 1968. Hey, Deontay. Yes, Victor Freeze. That's who we're talking about. And in the TV realm, it was the Instant Freeze, which is in 1966. So Victor Freeze, it's spelled out as fries, but it's pronounced freeze, um, had a hobby of freezing animals. So remember how we were talking about how you start with animals? It's like a super red
Cancer,
flag.
cat. Yeah, you just kind of go with
It's a red
it.
flag. Don't fuck with it. So he had a hobby of freezing animals to preserve them, so he could continue, so that they could continue to exist in the future. So cute, but really weird. So he just wanted them to like continue to live into the future, and this was just because he like wanted like society to continue and he wanted things to just continue. But due to this, his parents did the right thing and then sent him to a very strict boarding school, where Victor becomes depressed though, so not the best. Yeah, but if you're ever depressed, you know there are things out there for you like therapists and people to talk to. Um,
Something.
but while he was here, he actually met Nora, who is the love of his life. So it wasn't all bad. Their happiness, however, was short lived because Nora was diagnosed with a fatal disease. Um, Prior to like her being diagnosed, though, they like met each other, fell in love, got married, and then she got diagnosed, which is why it was very short lived. And then Victor tries to save her by using cryogenic technology. Um, so the experiment, however, like went wrong, and the equipment malfunctioned, and this consumes him and the lab in an explosion of ice. So my brain immediately, when I was reading this, and I immediately pictured Doc Ock from Spider-Man. So like
Mm,
the Marvel, like the similarities here.
sure.
This is where I kind of like thought of the two because Doc Ock had his whole like lab explode in like fire. So fire and ice. I thought that was interesting.
Game of Thrones. No?
Game of Thrones. Yes,
It's an ice explosion.
an ice explosion, as AD said. Deontay, we're just out here doing our thing. Thanks for the shout out and asking us what's up. Victor actually ends up surviving. However, he could only live in sub-zero temperatures. Nora, not so much. She did not do so well in this experiment.
I mean, women are perpetually cold. I mean, I get it.
We are cold-blooded, but we're not. But we are. It's a whole thing. We're always cold.
Yeah,
Always
I mean,
wearing a jacket.
I'm wearing a sweater. Come on.
I am wearing sweatpants. I would get up, but I'm sitting in like a long chair, and I don't know how everything would happen if I did actually stand up. Like
Total
everything.
demolition.
So, Victor ends up constructing a suit uh, to like let him survive for the time being, while he like tries to provide for Nora, who he like froze, right?
Mhm.
So he began robbing banks as Mr. Zero, which is why he had two origins. This is his Mr. Zero side to get money. And as Mr. Zero, he uses cryotechnology to create a gun that fires a beam that freezes any target within its range. Nora gave him the cold shoulder. Stop it. He needed that cold hard cash. Yo.
Oh my gosh. Oh gosh.
EJ, I feel like this is EJ comments right now.
I was holding back. Maybe I shouldn't.
It's definitely EJ.
Was he playing Ice Ice Baby when he robbed the bank?
Oh my god. So instead of the snap, it was a cold snap. Anyway, cold Captain Peeps with his cold gun. Stop it. Oh man. Whew. All right. Let me catch my breath.
Sorry.
Okay. So he's using cryotechnology to freeze everything in his path with this gun that he had created. Um, they dropped the ball with Mr. Freeze and Gotham. They did, and they straight up did. Um, Mr. Zero actually fakes his death, and Gotham City actually believes that he's dead. So this is the death of Mr. Zero. Um,
So he's
Victor rearranges his costume and then returns as Mr. Freeze. So now this is the introduction of Mr. Freeze. So one ends, the other begins. So freezes. So Victor freezes everyone that's in the courtroom um, while he talks to somebody named Calculator and convinces him to join the Secret Society of Supervillains. If that's not a mouthful to say, I don't know what is. But Victor fashions a Sub-Zero machine in exchange of the use of the Lazarus Pit, which, if you didn't know about the Lazarus Pit, definitely check out our first other episode, episode 3, where we talked extensively about what the Lazarus Pit actually really is and what it does. AD says, damn, that's cold. um, so, Victor Freeze attempts to restore Nora to life without without waiting for the adjustment of the pool chemicals. Nora returns to life as a Lazara and escapes. Yeah, if any of you seen Parks and Rec, you'll understand AD's reference about the pit. He fell in the pit. So, Nora comes back to life, but she blames her husband and estranges herself from him and runs off. So this isn't at all what he had expected, and not exactly great. Um, Victor is not declared insane, but he is put in Arkham because he is caught. But the reason why he's put into Arkham is because it's the only facility that can accommodate his requirements for the refrigerated cell. Damn, girl, that's cold. So the heart of the hush is something that I wanted to cover, and since you didn't really talk about it, I would like to talk about it. And this actually goes about hush.
It's all about you.
It's cool, 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 cool. So Thomas Elliot, who is Hush, damn, she got a ice box where her heart used to be. Why Nora got to do him like that? Do you expect that if you were frozen and then came back to life in a pit that you would be completely fine, sir? I would love to know this as your wife. I would love to know these answers. But anyway, Hush returns to Gotham and is planning an attack on the Dark Knight, killing any criminals who threaten Bruce, but this was a distraction. Hush actually wants to break into Selena Kyle's home, who is Catwoman. Episode 3.
Why you gotta mess with my girl?
The callbacks.
Mess with my girl.
Yeah. So Hush breaks into Selena Kyle's home and removes her heart. So you remember how you were talking about the organ removal and stuff that he was trying to do? This is exactly what that is. And then he abandons her in the Sacred Heart Convalescence Home, where she is trapped on life support. Hush says this is that this was with equipment that that was helping keep Selena alive was actually created by Victor in exchange for money. And then Victor is the main villain in the Battle of the Cowl one shot Commissioner Gordon. So the new 52, Mr. Freeze completed a compound that was used by the Court of Owls to revive their talents, which is why they're immortal. And it was revealed that Nora was not actually, in fact, his wife, but that Victor had never met her, but he was just obsessed about her. And that was a whole different comic, right? And the reason why he was obsessed with her and how he had met her was that he had met her while she was in the division of Wayne Enterprises chronogenically frozen. Sorry,
No,
words
got
are
it.
hard.
Words are hard.
Yeah. So his powers. He has sub-zero psychology. So accidentally frozen to his bone has transformed him to be a cold-blooded mutant. That actually kept him like he's always below zero. Cold adaptation. This is where his skin cells like became storage units of the cold to help his body chemistry to be more chilled. And this allowed him to become entirely immune and adapted to sub-zero temperatures.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, he has decelerated aging, so his age progression has been significantly slowed due to the suspended animation state. His thermogenesis, anything on his skin comes into contact will actually freeze.
Jeez.
Wait, he's a whole kidnapper? Yeah. So yeah, in the new 52 pretty much just becomes a kidnapper. Um, but yeah, he has toxic immunity. He is immune to most toxins, bacteria, and viruses due to his state of frozenness. So his different abilities that he has genius level intellect. He is a brilliant like scientific genius with the mind for invention. And this is how he invents like all of the things that he does invent is because he is skilled in physics, engineering, genetics, computer science, chemistry, and medical science. He's kind of a nerd like us.
Love it.
um, cryogenics is another one of his abilities. Victor is able to build a chronic life support machine for Catwoman when she gets her heart removed, and was capable of inventing a variety of cryotech for Nora's CC 2000 cryogenic chamber um, to extensive arrays of cryogenic weapons and armor. He is very brilliant in the medical science, like we talked about. He researched on pathology and neuroscience for Nora's neurological illness. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and specialization in cryogenics was successfully proven thesis on immortality through suspended animation through like his aging. Um, this also preserved his wife in a frozen state and to delay her illness until he could find a cure, which like was really cute to me.
Yeah, I think you saw that in the movie. I mean, I don't like to talk about those particular movies, but
Yeah.
you saw that in the movie. Yes. Yeah.
So the equipment, the cryogenic suit, so he has a superhuman strength and durability. It has two variants. One that protected him from the bomb attack, but his helmet was like significantly damaged. So then he created a new armor to make the second one, the second variant.
Mm-hmm.
And that was less heavy, but capable of withstanding a gunshot and explosives. The weapons that he has is the freeze gun that we had talked about that creates a gust of cold that approaches absolute zero temperatures. The gun is capable of creating a cold force and impression their opponents in a cocoon of ice.
So, do you
Uh,
think he got that from Gru, or do you think Gru got that from him?
Grew.
Off from Despicable Me, he's always got freeze gun.
I definitely think that Gru got that from him. Thank you for explaining that it was
Because he's always like
for
freeze
me
gun.
as soon as you said it, and I was like, oh, no, I know exactly what you're talking about. But sorry, hold on.
Sorry, my brain goes in weird directions.
No, it's all good. Because I was like, who's Gru? I was like in the DC universe, and I was like, did I miss somebody?
Sorry.
And then as soon as you said it, I was like, oh, yeah, no, it's definitely Gru got it from him. In
Gru got
my
it. Okay.
expertise of opinion.
He got that. He got that from him.
So the different media that you can see him in is the Batman and Robin film and the Lego movie, the Lego Batman movie. Sorry, not just the Lego
Oh
movie, the
yeah.
Lego Batman movie. The in TV, he has the 1960s Batman, The New Adventures of Batman, DC animated universe, the Batman the Brave and the Bold, Young Justice, and Gotham. As we had talked about, he is in the Gotham series. Not really suggesting that you watch that for them. Um, yeah, and he is. Don't watch the movie. It is not good. AD, are you talking about the Batman and Robin? Let me know if you're talking about Batman and Robin. Are you talking about the Lego Batman movie? Which one are you talking about? Oh, he's talking about the Batnips. Yeah, that's the Batman and Robin.
Okay, but I
didn't want to talk about it, but it was
besides the first two Batman movies that Tim Burton did, I pretended they didn't exist until Christopher Nolan took over and made The Dark Knight. But when Arnold Schwarzenegger was Mr. Freeze, let me tell you, I am such a sucker for the cheesy dad jokes that those movies made in like the 90s, like the 90s and stuff.
You know what? You do you, girl. You do you.
I live for those. I'm sorry. They're the best. When he was like Mr. Freeze and all the jokes he would like little one-liners, and I'm just like, they just had me rolling. I'm like, oh my gosh. Like,
you would.
You
would, which is why you like Predator so much. That's
probably
okay.
Probably.
I get it now. I get it.
I grew up on that stuff. It's like it's the best.
AD is not a sucker for dad jokes, and that is a level of terribleness.
To each their own. To each their own. But
I make dad jokes occasionally, and he just like stares at me, and I'm cracking up laughing at my own joke. And he is the dad, but it does not matter. Does Eric at least make dad jokes?
Yeah. No, I make the dad jokes. Okay, our husbands need to hang out because I make the dad joke, and Eric just pets me and tells me it's going to be okay.
Oh my god, they're the same.
Because I love it.
They're the same.
I will be crying, and Eric's like, "What's wrong with you?" And I'm like, "I don't know. You married me. I'm like, I'm sorry. I love them. Only the best dad jokes. I love it. They're the best." But yeah, I think as far as like with that movie, I to me like Mr. Freeze, like I love that character in that movie. Like I think that's great. I mean, screw the rest of the movie, but as far as like the character goes, I loved Mr. Freeze and what he did. Girl, I even bought a snowflake necklace because I'm like, I love Mr. Freeze. I had a snowflake necklace for like the longest time.
It wasn't because of Frozen. You can tell us. It's okay.
Man, that was like 20 years later.
Okay.
Dating myself a little bit. Anyways, sorry.
No, it's okay. I mean, we've both seen it, and it's, it's okay. So the different video games that Mr. Freeze is in is your Lego Batman, the video game, Batman Arkham series, the DC Universe Online, Batman Evil Within, and Gotham Knights. So a couple little trivia that I threw in there is that only like Mr. Freeze is the only Batman supervillain that appeared in the Batman versus Predator story. That's a nice little rabbit hole. Yep. And then more than 30 years after his creation, Mr. Freeze had little to no backstory. And this was and was like a little more than a minor gimmick like supervillain. When introduced into the DC animated universe, they gave him a new sympathetic backstory, introducing his wife Nora, and a great moral complexity to his character's cold, like stoic demeanor, coupled with a barely resistance like fury, much like Batman himself. And this like just really like stuck with the fans as me. Like I didn't know or without his backstory, but like I definitely think that like when he got his backstory, it was cool to see that. But I digress. That's Mr. Freeze.
Like I said, I loved the makeup, the costume, all the special effects from Mr. Freeze in that movie. And that's pretty much the only thing I liked. Anyways, all right. So Harley Quinn. So I know when we did the poll, Harley Quinn scored really high. And she was made quite popular. I know some people were fans of hers before the movie, but I think when they made Suicide Squad, she kind of like blew up, and you saw like every girl wanting to be her for like Halloween and everything. And well, there you go. And I thought the people that were fans of the movie, do they really know how the concept of Harley Quinn came about?
Probably not.
So let me tell you something.
Please educate us, Jen.
Let me educate you, because I learned something, and I was like, let me tell you about Harley Quinn, okay? So her very first appearance was in Batman the Animated Series. It wasn't even a comic. It was an animated series back in 1992. Now, this was the cartoon that I watched growing up. Loved the Batman animated series. Man, that shit was fire.
It is. I'm watching it now as an adult, and it's still fire.
You can even go back and watch it. Like, it's great. I love it.
It's on Max.
Yeah. That's honestly it's one of the reasons why I keep HBO Max. Like, I love like the DC animated stuff on there. It's great. Except for the Hush part, kind of pissed me off. But anyways, so the creation of Harley Quinn is credited to Paul Dini, and it came from the mind of Arlene Sorkin, who actually voiced Harley Quinn in the series. Who is Arlene Sorkin? Well, let me tell you. She was an actress on the Days of Our Lives.
Is that the soap opera?
Girl, I had flashbacks, and I had to watch that shit with my grandma. She's like, I gotta watch my stories, Jen. I was like,
oh my God.
What do you mean your stories? And then she puts on a soap opera, and I was like, oh God.
Make it stop.
And I watch cartoons, please. So grandma's watching the Days of Our Lives. So that's actually how I knew who this woman was as the world turned. Oh my God.
Oh
Anyways,
man.
so she's an actress on Days of Our Lives. And she's playing a character, Calliope?
That sounds about right.
Jones, who is basically the show's comic relief. And out of sheer boredom, she's always suggesting things to the show's producers. Okay.
Oh, like in real life. Got it.
In real life, she's suggesting things to the show's producers. So she just recently watched The Princess Bride.
Love that movie. It still holds up to this day.
Side note, did you see the Deadpool when he's talking to Fred Savage?
No.
You haven't? Oh
No.
my God, you gotta watch it. It's got Fred Savage and Deadpool's trying to tell him the story. Okay, you gotta watch it. All right, sorry. Watch that. It's funny.
Okay.
So she goes and she watches The Princess Bride. Classic movie. Love that. And she got the idea of doing like this fairy tale dream sequence on the Days of Our Lives, where she acts like a court jester. She like roller skates into like the throne room. And she's doing all sorts of things to like make the royals laugh and everything. So, little information. So, Paul Dini and Sorkin are friends. They're friends from college. So she gives him this VHS tape that has like all of her favorite moments from Days of Our Lives. And he finally watches it in like 1991. And he's writing this unaired animated series, Batman.
Okay.
And he's really struggling to come up with a female character. and he's having a really hard time. So he watches it,
He was having
and
writer's block.
I get it. Like writer's block is like horrible. Like your brain, like like it's yeah, it sucks. So so he watches that. So he decides to start researching. So he researches based on the costume that she wore, like what does a harlequin wear? Like what's their traditional outfit? Um, and then he got his lead cartoonist to like draw up a female character, which it didn't quite capture what Deanie was like envisioning,
Mm-hmm.
but that's essentially where you get Harley's like red and black, like full like body jumpsuit with like playing card diamonds and like the ruffled cuffs and that like the double front hat and all that stuff. So it comes from that. It comes from like a traditional like Harlequin like thing.
Okay.
So then all the characters made, his writer block's gone. So he asked Sorkin to actually voice the character. I was
That's
like,
super dope.
right? That's what I thought. I'm like, I thought that was freaking awesome. So she's in the studio and she's trying to like record this voice, and she's like, you know what? I'm just going to use my own voice. And it's this high, like really nasally, like sing song voice with a little bit of like Brooklyn like inflection in it, which is her natural like speaking voice. So she just talked.
Oh,
That's the way she sounds in real life.
that is terrifying.
Girl, I almost went back and watched it. I was like, is that how she like talks like in real
Oh,
life? It is. It
ew.
actually is. I know.
So wait, since you've seen Days of Our Lives, like, did she talk like that in Days of Our Lives?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay.
It's very high and nasally.
Okay.
Yeah. And like I usually think of like Richard Marx, singer, like when he sings like like nasally. Yeah. So she's like very high, very nasally kind of talking. Um so this was kind of weird how a character kind of came to life in like an animated series. So
Mm-hmm.
fast forward to like 1994. So DC asks Deanie and one of the graphic artists, Tim, that originally drew her, to create a single issue comic that would reveal Harley's origin story.
Ooh, I like
Yeah,
that.
I noticed this trend a lot. Like you have a character that comes in and they're like, oh, well, damn, people like this character. Let's give them a background story. Let's give them an origin story. Which I think is great.
Mm-hmm.
And in this single issue comic, it would reveal that Harley was once the Joker's psychiatrist. And that's where I think it was titled Mad Love
Mm-hmm.
was created. And it showed how, like, Harleen Quinzel was for her name before she became Harley Quinn,
Mm-hmm.
was this very, like, mild mannered. She was a gymnast.
She was sane.
Yeah,
She was all the way there.
I mean, kind of.
To the most part.
Yeah, for the most part. Um, before she decided to become like the Joker's like sidekick, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Man, love makes you do some weird things.
yeah, and like I said, although I do like the Harley Quinn and like the Suicide Squad, I feel like
It
people
doesn't hit
kind
the
of
same as like watching the animated series. Like
it
there's
doesn't.
definitely like two different. It's like
Yeah,
I'm sorry to go off on a tangent a little bit, but have you ever heard like Maroon 5, like songs about Jane, and then
yeah,
now their new stuff?
yeah.
It's like good, and then what now people want to hear, but not like what I guess old people would want to hear. I don't know. I love songs about Jane, but I cannot listen to their new stuff.
No,
Um,
no, I get it. There's something that's just lost. It's just not the same. Like Harley Quinn is actually really smart. Like it even shows like when she like helps the Joker torture the Red Hood. Like, she helps torture him. Like, she uses her degree in psychology. Like, yeah, she's insane, but to me, she went that way because of the Joker. Like, she loves him like that much. Like, she's crazy. She's crazy
Yeah.
about him. You
So
know.
like Danny wants to know, is there an actual animated like series, like her own series of Harley Quinn? I know that there's like a live action, I think one, but is there a animated series?
I don't know if there's an animated series. I know there's a lot of DC stuff that she's in, and she may be like the title character in that particular episode, but I don't know if she's like actually like has her own show.
So Jeff actually said that to answer this question, yes, Harley actually has her own animated series, and it's also one with Poison Ivy as her lesbian lover. Jeff, is that on? Like, what is that on? Is that on Max?
Max.
Okay, he said, yeah, it's on Max.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah,
I agree with Deontay. Just talking about Maroon 5.
yeah. So Songs About Jane,
right,
complete fire, and then they had their now stuff is like full on pop. It's not the great stuff, but yeah, Deontay is saying that HBO Max is where Harley Quinn has her own animated like show.
It needs to have Max. Your DC stuff.
It really does. I'm gonna tell you what that show is called as soon as we get off here, and with it's got Elizabeth Olsen in it. Wanda.
Room 5 is like room 55 now. He just, I don't know, dude. He just lost it somewhere. I know we're talking about
no, it's all good. Like, we nerd out about a lot of things, and this is one of the things. It's music. I'm sorry, but you're gonna hear stuff about music.
That's why there's like so many bands out there. Like, you like their first few albums, and then like they start churning other stuff out, and you're like, I don't really like them
Sugar.
anymore.
The song "Sugar" literally makes me want to punch a hole in a wall. Like, it's so annoying.
I get it. Like, I'm one of those people. I'm like, oh, so-and-so wrote a new album. Let me listen to it. And I'm like, the hell?
Oh my God.
I'm glad I didn't spend $20 back in the. All right, where are my old people at? Where we used to spend $20 on a new CD for like one song that you love that was on the radio, and the rest of it was fucking garbage. How about when they like? Who remembers that? Man, I love Napster and like BearShare and LimeWire.
LimeWire. That's what I used growing up. I mean, I may or may not have used it. I cannot confirm nor deny.
And they're like all pissed off, like, you're stealing from me. I'm like, stop making one good song and the rest of the album is absolute garbage.
Literally, Songs About Jane. That entire album, I'm telling you, that entire album is fire. It is so fire.
They used it all up. On one
Their
album.
next one after that wasn't bad. That's the Wake Up Call one. They had like I can't remember what a couple of the other songs were, but it was not a bad album. But then the one after that, I think
he just
Hands All Over. That was the Mick Jagger, and it wasn't. It just kept on.
Yeah, he sold out a little bit for me. Like, all my favorite bands, they've kind of stayed the same throughout the decades, and I like them because they are who they are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyways, all right, enough about the 5 tangent.
Sorry.
No, you're good. It needed to be talked about. There needed to be rant and ravings. Yep, Deontay said
the show is called Love and Death. Okay, so that's the HBO show that I was talking about with Candy Montgomery. Super great on Max. You need to watch it. Love and Death. Okay. So the reason why we wanted to talk about Harley Quinn was definitely about, like, we had our graphic designer come on and do an interview with us. If you haven't seen it, yeah, Gigi's amazing. And if you haven't seen that interview, definitely recommend it. But in that interview, she actually disclosed to us that her favorite villain was Harley Quinn. So we decided that we had to show Harley Quinn some love. and we wanted to talk about her, so we did. Sorry for the people that voted that didn't vote for Harley Quinn like as much as the others, but definitely wanted to show Harley Quinn some love. Also, the first live action was actually not with Margot Robinson, or sorry, whatever her name is, the girl that plays Barbie.
It's Barbie.
Barbie. Barbie was not the first person to play Harley Quinn. Yeah, Margot Robbie. Sorry, not Robinson. Robbie. Sorry, there. It's brain. So the actual first live action, AD is making fun of me. First of all, no notes going in this raw. Sorry. So anyway, thank you, Beatles. So the first live action was actually done by Maria Sarah. So if any of you have seen Ferris Bueller's Day Off, that
Legend.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the main female character in Ferris Bueller's Day Off actually was the first person to play Harley Quinn as a live action role in 2002 in a series called Birds of Prey. And this isn't to be confused with the movie Birds of Prey. But also, an interesting fact about this show is that you had Luke Skywalker. What is his actual name?
Mark Hamill.
Thank you, Mark Hamill. So Mark Hamill was actually the one to voice Joker in the animated series, but also in this series, he actually voiced it, but somebody else actually faced it. It wasn't actually his face. So if you go on IMDb, you will see Mark Hamill as a actual actor in the show, but he actually wasn't the one to actually show his face. It was some other rando dude that I didn't care to actually say what his name was.
Anyways, about yeah, Mark Hamill, gosh, man, he's been voicing the Joker for like the longest time. Like he's
so
like
great. So great.
I know. He's so just
I loved him as Luke Skywalker in the first three. We're not going to talk about the other ones. We're not going to talk about those movies.
We're not?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
But
TV.com. Got it. Okay. It's still Luke. Anyways.
To digress.
Okay. So
who's our final gal? Or
dude? With the polls. I know. I'm sorry about the polls, but I want to talk about Poison Ivy. So Poison Ivy, my friends. I like her a lot. I have my reasons. We're not going to talk about the movies. I like Uma Thurman.
Didn't like Uma Thurman as Poison Ivy. I mean, just as her costume, her makeup, and
it was okay.
Okay.
It was alright. But she didn't capture like Poison Ivy. Like I don't know, it's one of those things where it's just something missing. And I had such a hard time with those Batman movies just because they were just a little too goofy for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you start getting kind of goofy with your sequels, you kind of lose me. And yeah, plant stuff. I like plants. I don't know plants.
All my plants are dead.
So let's talk about Poison Ivy. So Pamela Lillian Isley is her name for reals.
Okay.
Her first appearance was in Batman issue 181 in June of 1966. She's up there in age a little bit. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm telling you. So she's a misanthropic botanist and biochemist who is empowered by an interplanetary force known as the Green. Green gonna get you.
Okay.
All right. So some of her abilities is she has a poisonous touch. She has enhanced physical abilities, and she has supernatural power over plant life.
What is enhanced physical abilities? Like she's strong?
She's strong.
Okay.
She works out.
She works out.
I work out. the interesting thing about her is that she dances like this really fine line between being like this eco terrorist. She doesn't skip leg day.
Oh my god. Girl, look at that
Yeah.
body. Ooh. She worked out.
Yeah, I'm telling you. So
She's
she
thick now.
she dances. She's thick. Shut up, baby. She dances this fine line between like being an eco terrorist and then being this champion of like Mother Nature. So she kind of goes back and forth. So, she is at first persuaded by Mark Legrand. So this is like a pre-crisis scenario. Okay.
Okay.
Into assisting him with the theft of an Egyptian artifact containing ancient herbs.
Oh,
Um,
good.
he initially, so this is kind of like where her origin story. She's got like two origin stories.
Okay.
Not quite like Mr. Freeze, but
Okay.
so he feared that she would implicate him in this theft, and he poisons her with these ancient herbs, and that's she survives, and that's how she kind of like becomes poison ivy. She has like this natural immunity to like all like natural toxins and like diseases. So
Deandre
then
hashtag plant mom.
plant mom, she has like a little potted plant. She's like,
So quiet.
"It's my aloe vera plant." Sorry.
Girl, those things are amazing.
So her origin story was revised with a lot of other origin stories during the Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Okay.
And this is where DC rewrote a lot of their like origin stories and like their continuity and stuff. Is what it is. So in this particular story, she grows up wealthy. They're all wealthy. What the heck?
Not Mr. Freeze. Mr. Freeze is robbing banks for that money. He ain't got shit.
I wish I was wealthy and had issues. No, a superhero and superpowers. Anyways, so she grows up wealthy, and she has like these emotionally distant parents. Mm-hmm. And she goes to study at this advanced biochemistry, where she is seduced by her professor. Now, his name is Dr. Jason Woodrow. Keep that in the back of your mind for later. So, her professor injects her with poisons and toxins as an experiment. And when she gets, it causes her to transform.
What a bitch. Why would you do that?
Like, she did it willingly. She's like, sure. Like, why? Like, I don't
Here's my vein. Pop it. It's right.
And it like causes her to like nearly die twice, and it drives her like insane. Which I can understand that. Like, nearly dying.
Yeah.
Like, I'd kind of lose my shit a little bit. Just saying. So, fast forward. I'm going to talk about her criminal career. Okay. So she threatens to release some suffocating spores, her own suffocating spores, into the air of Gotham City unless they meet her demands. And Batman stops her and sends her to Arkham. Now, since Batman did this, she becomes obsessed with him. Like, in a bad way. Not in a good way, in a bad way.
Oh.
Not with, like, the Batman nipple costume. Like, it's a bad way. She's like, damn you, Batman!
Because, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah. It turns out that Batman is the only person who she can't control. Like, he's got like such strong will and like strong focus, like she can't control him. And as in the movie Uma Thurman, she does have a lethal toxin in her lips. Like, she can literally kill somebody by kissing them.
Oh,
so that much is a reflection of like the comic centery things.
He isn't into redheads. Is she actually a redhead in the comics?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. She's got like this skimpy little vine outfit and everything. Just she's like, he's anti-gardening. He's like, just let it go. He's more into rocks. Anyways,
And
so
caves.
right. So in other issues, she says that she started a life of crime in order to like the have the sufficient funds in order to find somewhere where she can be alone with her plants and away from humanity. So apparently, she was not near to a trust fund. Be with a soulless ginger. Well, she might be a soulless ginger. Who knows? And she does eventually leave to a desert island in the Caribbean.
Ooh,
And
she wants to
she,
get that tan.
she yeah, maybe it's near Barbados. I'm not sure. She transforms the desert island that's essentially like this wasteland into what was described as being almost like another Eden. It's like lush and beautiful. There's plants everywhere. She's happy and content there until somebody comes along and just destroys it.
Oh no.
That
Why would you do that?
I know.
What did the plants do to you?
Rude. Rude. So, and it's actually this American-owned corporation that's testing weapon system. And kind of in their defense, they thought the island was still deserted wasteland. They didn't really think much of it. Obviously, they weren't looking at satellite imagery because they probably would have seen
Or scout it. Literally just go scout.
or scout
Go
it.
find a little boat.
Things change, moron. Things change. Yeah. Well, you know. So she leaves that desert island. It's destroyed now. And she returns to Gotham seeking revenge. Now, Batman catches her before she can punish all of those who are responsible. I think she gets almost all of them. So Batman catches her, and she's like, "Oh, okay." So she goes to Arkham Asylum, and she receives a message through the flowers. I'm not really sure if it's like a text message in the petals or exactly how she gets these messages. Maybe it's like a pheromone thing. Text message. Just pluck the flower petals.
He loves me. He loves me not.
Not
He says to go to the ball.
so, so it's actually Floronic Man. That's a tough villain name.
Yep.
Floronic Man.
Floronic.
So you remember that name I told you to remember?
Jason something.
Woodrue. Yeah.
Woodrue.
Jason Woodrue. It's her old professor who contacted her. He has become Floronic Man.
Did he inject himself too?
Wait.
Oh,
Hold that thought. So he sent for her and wants a small portion of her DNA. Her DNA. So that he can create a child. Now, at this point, he's actually completely a plant.
So
except for his brain.
He's like Little Shop of Horrors, the like talking plant. I want your blood.
Trying to envision it. I was envisioning. I don't know. I was envisioning like a tree. But I could go with Little Shop of like Audrey 2. He could be like an Audrey 2 or something. Yeah. Oops.
Sorry.
No. My brain went there too when I was like researching this. I'm like, well, what's he like? What is it? What is that? So, he floods the streets of Gotham with a high-grade marijuana in order to create a world economy that is run on hemp, and their offspring will control it. I don't really see the problem here. Like, what, you're threatening me with this? That's cool. Go ahead. And then everybody just lounges around and eats tacos, and nobody really cares what he's doing. Anyways, I'm just kidding. All right. So, now there is an earthquake that happens in Gotham. All right.
Okay.
So Gotham City is destroyed by an earthquake. Now she takes control of a park there, Robinson Park, and she turns it into like a tropical paradise. She just has a knack for this. She's like, I don't know. She goes and she says, "I'm gonna make it pretty. I love it. It's great." She's like, "I'm just gonna create this little sanctuary." And she ends up taking in like 16 orphan children she's so good. And then she cares for them. Now, here comes Clayface.
This motherfucker.
That's what I said. This motherfucker. So he has this idea. He tries to make a bargain with her. He says the bargain is for her to grow produce and have the kids, the orphans, harvest it and sell it to the highest bidder. Because when this earthquake happens in Gotham, it's just like mass chaos. Like so many things are destroyed. There's not enough food. It's ridiculous. So she denies him, and Clayface. I said, I'm like, no, I'm good. So Clayface ends up trapping her and her orphans under the park lake. And he's feeding her salt, which, as we all know, it's not good for plants. He's not giving her water. He's blocking her from the sun. Like, it's weakening her, like, exponentially.
That's wild. Why would you do that?
Yeah, I'm like, that's not really a good way to convince a girl to like go out on a date with you. Like, fine, I'm just gonna torture you, stick you underground, feed you salt. So here comes Batman. He comes and rescues her, frees her, and she kills Clayface herself.
Good.
Dude, she kills him like a lot. Like she makes some fertilizer for her plants.
Good for her.
She kills him so hard. He's fertilizer for her plants. Like, I don't think Clayface is gonna come around again after that. I'm not sure if he does, but damn. And it's about this time that Poison Ivy finds Harley Quinn. And Harley Quinn had almost been murdered by the Joker, and Ivy nurses her back to health. And like since then, they've become like best friends and partners in crime. And I think other people have like mentioned like they were even like lesbian lovers at like one point. Like they have like a really close bond, you know. And then there's other storylines that I read that were Poison Ivy actually dies because, and I think in this aspect, like she wants to die because she feels like her powers are hurting the orphan children that she was trying to raise, and she actually seeks Batman out to help her like turn human again. But Hush, of all people, he like convinces her, like, no, don't do that. Like, take this serum to like restore her powers, and she takes it, and then she dies in the process.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Right, but I guess in the last like image in the comic strip, it shows like her grave is covered by ivy.
Ooh, so she's alive.
She's not actually dead. I know. So about a year later, you see her again, and she's at full strength, and she has like even more control over the flora than she did before. Like it's vastly increased. It's almost like on par with like Swamp Thing, and then like her that Jason Wood drew into Pharaonic Man. Like she's on par with like their powers. I'm not really sure what Hush gave her. Yeah, he tricked her and drinking Roundup. No, actually opposite. Probably like Miracle Grow or something. He's like, here, drink this. But Batman discovers that she's been feeding people, such as like her henchmen and like other people that she feels are like incompetent or like lovers that she's kind of like grown tired of, to this giant plant that is named the Harvest. So the Harvest is this like I said, like this huge plant, and what it does is that it slowly digests people. Like
Ew.
You know, kind of reminds me of that huge worm off of Star Wars that like digests you for like 7 years.
That or Nope, because they actually showed like in the movie Nope, it was like a giant like weird cloud thing that like sucked up people and digest them. You could actually watch it. Yeah.
No, I watched it. It was very
yeah.
No, I watched it. I was just like, yeah.
Yeah.
That's disturbing. All right.
Yeah.
But the thing was with this particular plant was her victims' souls would merge with the plant, and it ended up creating like the monster harvest. Like before, it was just a big plant, but then when their souls were like being digested, it would merge with him, and it created like something that was like sentient. Um, and then Harvest actually ends up trying to seek revenge on Ivy. Yeah, but
Even though she was feeding it? Like,
it's probably because it was like, prisoner, you created me, and then you made me do all your dirty work. It's like maybe the people tasted bad. Like
they didn't wash themselves. They were sweaty.
Like, can you wash my? I mean, I wash my vegetables before I eat them. Like maybe that was the thing. Like I didn't like eating like polyester or something. Maybe. But Batman thwarted it. So that was a little information about Poison Ivy. You know, I liked her a lot. I'm going to talk a little bit about her. All right. What else you got for us, Miss Tay?
So we are at the closer of the evening. We are at the final shots and thoughts. We're partying over here. So, we want to thank everybody for tuning into our 4th episode. It was super great to have all of you guys commenting and engaging, and having our, our producer Jeff over here helping us out with that animated series. Super appreciated it. Always helping us out. We love it here. So watch the page of the USDN for updates on our 5th episode, which, drum roll please, we are doing Harry Potter. So, with my little Ravenclaw. Because I'm a Ravenclaw. But anyway, so we will be doing Harry Potter's Heroes and Villains as our 5th and 6th episode. And then also watch the page for the USDN episode 2 coming to y'all next weekend in 7 days. So that will be on August 19th at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. So just an hour after we started for this one. Where we'll continue to explore the Predator and Alien franchise. Super excited about that for that universe. We will also come out with more of our interview series, so stay tuned for that. We don't really know what's happening next, but there might be something at the end of this month. Just stay tuned. You might get some more content coming to you real soon. And this is where we're going to highlight the comic books and cosplay communities, plus much more. We also want to point out that if you're a Patreon member, which you'll have the links in our link tree, you'll have an exclusive to the episode by episode breakdown for that Ahsoka. So if you watched our wrap up Secret Invasions party, this is going to be an episode by episode wrap up. Only for our Patreon members, though. However, just go ahead and stay tuned for those dates. But fear not, we did see your guys' poll, and we will be giving you a end of the season wrap up party that it will be on Facebook and Twitch live for all of you, just like you're watching here, for our USDN family. So thank you guys for staying tuned for all of that. And also a special thank you goes out to the DFPN podcast group for all the love and support that you guys have given us. It really means a lot to us, and it goes a long way. And today we want to leave you guys with a quote from the brilliant mind who blessed you with the world of laughter and happiness, Pee Wee Herman. So it goes like this. I'm just trying to illustrate that it's okay to be different. It's not that it's good, not that it's bad, but that it's all right. I'm just trying to tell kids to have a good time and encourage them to be creative and question things. Again, that was from Pee Wee Herman, who did depart us this year, who is Paul Rubens. And that, you, ladies and gentlemen, is USDN approved. See ya.
Bye.